How can sales leaders continue to rally the troops remotely during challenging times? We're giving tactical tips on this episode of Closing Time. Thanks for tuning in to Closing Time, the show for go-to-market leaders. I'm Val Riley, head of content marketing at Insightly. I'm joined today by Mike Weir. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at G2 and also spent 8 years leading sales teams at LinkedIn. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hey Val, thanks for having me back again.
So here's the scene. Your team is spread across the country. The forecasts are looking a little bit anemic. This is the time that sales leaders need to step up. How do you coach teams during these times?
This is a tough one. And honestly, I, like others, I think probably struggled with this for quite a while, especially the part about the remote aspect. Like going to nearly 100% remote was incredibly challenging. That in and of itself required us to think differently about how to engage with our team, how to engage as a leadership team. And then you throw on top of it a really bad global economy, and you've got a whole recipe for disaster. For us, we wanted to amp up the amount of communication that we were doing and the means with which we were communicating. So we started layering in additional kind of Slack channels for conversations about specific topics, some overarching updates from the business to the team so that they were staying really well informed. We changed up some of our leadership meeting cadences to make sure that folks were getting more regular updates. So like my global leadership team comes together every month now versus less frequently before, more like every other month or quarterly. And the goal within those forums for the leadership team is to make sure that they have tangible takeaways that they can bring back to their individual team meetings that they can talk about with their teams so that everybody is feeling extremely well informed. As a sales organization, we are also connecting into the broader communications that our employee success team is doing and our CEO does via our global all hands. So we have indexed a lot towards over communicate, make sure we're reinforcing the most important messages, use multiple means of communicating that includes just sharing the information and open collaborative sessions where it is much more of a discussion. And so a lot of this has helped us to make sure that the right information is out there, that we're getting the right feedback, that we're getting the right pushback on when things need to be changed. For instance, we have changed some policies where the team really did push back on certain things to make sure that we were being responsive to the current environment. For instance, like many people are cutting back on expenses. We have tried to not drastically cut our travel and entertainment expense budgets to make sure that the team, when they have opportunities to be with customers, when they have opportunities to come in for our mid-year meetup that we host in Chicago in August, or to come in for bigger trainings, that they are able to do that.
I love to hear that flexibility. I think that that's the key, making people connect the way they feel most comfortable connecting. I think that's great. One topic we keep hearing on this show from sales leaders is around tenure. So we're seeing salespeople getting lured away by some really attractive comp plans. When the forecast isn't great, how do you retain your A players?
During the Great Reshuffle, Great Resignation, whichever storyline you got behind, it was really challenging. I would say that nobody, and I talked to like dozens and dozens of peers across different companies because every week somebody be reaching out saying, I'm trying to hire for this role. And it's like, yeah, you're the fourth person, plus I'm also hiring for the same role. And it was a very difficult time because there was so much opportunity. Whether it's that situation or now where there is less hiring going on, to us, to me, it's always about helping your employees thrive, right? And so we don't just rely on 100% plus attainment being your definition of success. This is one thing I spent time talking about with my global rev org at our mid-year meetup in August. It's like, this is going to be a difficult period, right? We've had 2 years of amazing success and growth, and everybody, when you look at the averages, nearly 70% of my global team made their number last year, right? And you look at benchmarks and they say like, okay, 35 to 40% of a team usually makes their number. It's like phenomenal success. Also, a lot of folks that are younger in their careers. And so you hit a huge economic storm like this, all of a sudden their confidence has been shattered. Their morale is starting to dip down because they've solely defined themselves and their time here at G2 based on I'm over 100%. Therefore, I'm good at my job. So we've actually taken a different approach to remind everybody about what they're doing right. And it's not that you've forgotten how to sell. It's not that we're not on board and supporting you. It's that we want to create an environment where you continue to do the right things. So we're going to focus on the peak development plans, helping coach you to be the best in this job and start planting seeds for what you may want to do in a year or two, so that we're adding to your skill, your knowledge, your experiences. And that's not an investment that a lot of other companies make. Plus, we do encourage everybody to be a part of the broader G2 culture and community, where we have regular things going on outside of their day jobs that give them an opportunity to engage with their peers, with others across G2, with external guest speakers, to add more to their job, to add more to their experience here than, again, just like hitting 101% of your quota. And then, with those mix, we're trying to create an environment where it is, it's tough to leave because you love the people that you work with. You love the purpose of what G2 is trying to accomplish. And we feel like we're giving you more than what you would get elsewhere. When it comes to compensation, though, obviously that can be a big deciding factor. Coming into the second half, we reset expectations. We changed targets and we adjusted to the current selling environment so that folks would have a equal shot of getting to 100%. So it's creating a better experience, but also acknowledging the challenging market conditions and adapting to that to create a more hospitable environment, better quotas, more likelihood of overachieving for the team in this second half.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're continuing to invest in people, you're growing them and making sure those benchmarks are realistic, and all that together is leading to a culture of retention.
Yep.
Great. So you mentioned briefly that you hadn't cut your budget for meetings, for team meetups. In this time and in the whole remote world, what do you feel like is the cadence of in-person meetups that is ideal for a remote sales team?
Yeah. We do every 6 months.
Okay.
As it's a beginning of year kickoff and then a mid-year meetup.
Mm-hmm.
In between then, and that's like the whole company, right? With some limitations on international folks being able to fly in. But that gives an opportunity twice a year for us to build bonds in person for those that are comfortable being in person. The teams have flexibility within their budgets, where we do really promote just transparency and responsibility to have my leaders get their budgets, they cascade them to their leaders. That gives the flexibility for at a team level or at a segment level, like all of mid-market sales getting together, or just one of the acquisition mid-market teams getting together. So it creates the kind of bigger forums twice a year, which feels really good. I think quarterly does feel excessive. It feels a little disruptive to kind of bring hundreds of people together. But every 6 months, paired with ad hoc team level, kind of group segment level meetings, has been really powerful to keep strong bonds, keep new relationships developing, because like many, we hire a lot of folks at the beginning of this last calendar year. So we have a large amount of people that joined the company as really difficult economic times started. And we still wanted to provide the opportunity for them to get to know more of their peers, other teams, other cross-functional partners. And then, as I've talked about before, we got to make sure that we're creating a lot of virtual forums, right? But not overbearing. I think that is the one thing we heard as we tried to course correct and start over communicating was, hey, this is a little too much. I'm spending a lot of my time on internal meetings. And so we then reassessed, cut a few of those, optional meetings out where people felt some level of pressure to show up for them, and just said, nope, take the time back, engage customers, help customers, and let us know when you have questions. And we'll bring those into the public forums, the open team meetings that we do keep on the schedule.
Yeah, striking that balance. I think that's super brave of your leadership to say, "Hey, maybe we overcorrected, and we're
Mm.
going to pull it back." Some companies, may not be that brave to make that shift. So, really interesting perspective. I also like how you shared about the cadence of in-person meetups, because no matter when you get hired, you're no more than a few months away from meeting people in person. I think that's important. Um, the last time my team did an offsite meeting, I know we talked about business, but we went to a baseball game and we played miniature golf, and those are the things I really remember. So when you guys do get together in person, when you're gathering your salespeople from all over, what percentage of the time is like meetings and learnings versus like that social connection?
Yeah, we definitely try to strike the balance, like you all did at your most recent one. It's tough. I think the last two events we've done have gotten very positive feedback that we're starting to strike a really good balance. Before, there was just so much to cover, and so many topics that were being requested to be discussed that we would cram the agenda full, like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 3 hours in the morning was like everybody together. Afternoon is choose your own adventure, but like you're jumping around from topic to topic and different internal speakers. And while that got a lot of really positive reviews, people are like, "Whoa, I am so spent." One, I didn't have an opportunity to like engage with questions that were coming into me from partners, customers, and so forth. But two, it's like now the team stuff is starting at night, but I'm like just ready to take a nap. So we've pulled that back and condensed our content agenda down. At our mid-year meetup, we did a 3.5 hour global hybrid all hands, and then all afternoon was free for the teams to do their own activities, to just do work if they wanted to. And then we had a 3.5 hour session with just the revenue organization the day after that. And then 2 hours at a team level, and then all afternoon we had a 10-year anniversary for G2 party at the end of that. And so we really went from like 9 to 5 over the course of 3 days, with team dinners and outings and fun stuff at night, to about half of the amount of content, roughly 3 to 5 hours a day, with 3 to 4 hours that's just open time to use however you want, to network, to socialize. And a lot of teams did community service events, scavenger hunts, like fun things that they allowed, they voted on and chose what really resonated with them. And then we paired in bigger group outings to create opportunities for everybody to come together. And that felt really good. A lot of great content, a lot of great information was shared, but way more networking and socializing time for the team, which, as you said, they always come away remembering how awesome it was to be able to just sit there and talk to people and get to know them better as individuals, as coworkers.
As a textbook introvert, I will say there's probably a lot of people that appreciate a little bit of downtime in there too, Mike.
Yeah, maybe the fact that we do have more introverts in our leadership team helps to balance out the person like me who just loves being out there with the team and could talk business all day long and then go to dinner and have a great conversation. So I think our conscious leadership approach to hearing from everybody, all perspectives, has gotten us to a very good balance.
Mike, this was great. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Remember, everybody, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss an episode. We'll see you next time.